Good morning, David Akubian, Bearwoods Photography, and this is a Tamron 17-28 FE mount lens from my new Sony a7R III. Really looking forward to it. This is one of the big reasons that I'm going more and more mirrorless. I've always been an advocate of mirrorless, with the exception of wildlife. I've talked about it before. Won't harp on it now, but I'm headed to Montana in a couple days, and this is something that I really wanted to have for that trip and have with me. It made it. I'll do another video in a day or so of what gear I'm going to take, but let's talk about this lens for a minute. I only have had a chance to play with it for just maybe 15-20 minutes about a month and a half ago. Really, the things that caught my eye are, I think, what catches the eye of most people that have reviewed it. F-Stoppers did a little review that I read yesterday, and they couldn't emphasize enough how compact it was, how light it was, but also how sharp it is. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to. So, without any further ado, the Tamron 17-28 f2.8 Di3, which signifies for mirrorless camera systems, RXD. So we'll talk about that in a second, some of the designations here. Very, very light. A few things with the lens that we want to point out. It's got a couple elements in there: low dispersion glass and extra low dispersion glass. And this is what's going to help make it extremely sharp without adding a lot of weight to it. And that's something that I noticed and the reviewers have noticed, that when you compare it with lenses in this class from other manufacturers, nothing wrong with those lenses, but when you compare it, this one is much smaller. It's only 3.9 inches long when compressed and 14.8 ounces in weight. And it also leaves a lot more money in your pocket, which is great. So let's go ahead and open this thing up. As always, the nice stylish Tamron USA logo. Make sure you're always buying from an authorized Tamron dealer from the USA. Your warranty will be in effect. And just a little side note, always register your lenses. If you're not familiar with the VIP program, I encourage you to find out more information. The VIP Platinum members right now are in Sedona, having a great trip with some Tamron folks, but just check that out on the website. It's something great. Again, wonderfully packed. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to get damaged. It's inside of really good packing. So let's take this out. And this little thing that I never read, we put it back in here. Small packaging. Oh, there we go. And like I said, right away you notice how compact this lens is. I mean, it's extremely light. I think the box almost feels like it weighs as much empty than this thing does. So again, we talked about it. Low dispersion glass, extra low dispersion elements. With all Tamron lenses, you get a lens hood, get a front lens cap, get a rear lens cap. 6-year warranty as well. So let's talk about some of the other features. My perfect landscape lens falls somewhere between 17 millimeters, 150 millimeters. Primarily, though, I live in an ultra-wide world. 17-28 is a great lens. 17-35 is a great lens for me. I love to take that wide-angle lens, compress it into a scene, take something in the foreground and compress it, make it look big, and then use my subject in the background to use for an asymmetrical composition. What's really nice about this is the minimum focusing distance is just at 7.5 inches. So that means I can take something really close, put it into the frame. I like to jam stuff into the foreground, so I can have an object in the foreground and then use the composition to get something in the background. Having the ability to be 7.5 inches away is incredible, because when I've got a foreground object that's really interesting, I can jam this lens into it, and then I can use a single exposure if I want to, or I could do some focus stacking, do an exposure for the background and the foreground to get maximum sharpness. But a lot of times I'm wanting to isolate a little bit. So this is great. It's a 2.8 lens all the way through 17-28. That's phenomenal. And that's another big thing that the reviewers have talked about, is when you go this light and you go this compact, f2.8 is a big deal. Typically you've got big heavy lenses, and when you're going mirrorless, that sort of defeats the purpose a lot of times. And that's something that I looked at, is I wanted super high quality lenses at a light weight to complement that mirrorless system. And now I'm starting to get those lenses. Thank you, Tamron, very much. 17 to 28, 28-75, they just have been teasing us with 4 new lenses. I don't know what those new lenses are, but I'm as excited as everyone else to find out in October. So, smallest, lightest, low dispersion, extra low dispersion. Here's something that I really like. 67 millimeter filter size, same as the 28-75. So when I'm taking a circular polarizer, photographing foliage or water or anything else, I only need one filter, from my widest lens to my telephoto lens, the 28-75 in this case. That comes in really handy. So it reduces the amount of stuff that I'm carrying, and it's smaller when I'm carrying as well. So let's talk about a couple of the features on the lens. 17-28, nice short zoom. RXD, if you notice on the box here, it's got the III RXD. RXD stands for Rapid Extra Silent Stepping Drive. Very technical term for awesome, fast, and quiet. I think I said it before when I did the 28-75 unboxing, but I think that they couldn't put awesome, silent, cool, fast drive on there, so they had to use RXD. If you notice, it's also got the fluorine coating. Fluorine coating means if something gets on the front of the lens, it's going to be easier to clean it off. Again, all this makes it much more simple for someone like myself in the field not to have to worry about some of these things. When I'm doing more and more video content like you're watching now, that RXD is going to be something that's going to come in handy, the quietness of the drive and everything else. It's moisture resistant. I'll try to move it up here. You can see the little seal around the edge. So again, I'm primarily a nature photographer. The moisture construction, the moisture resistant construction is going to be great for me when I'm out in the rain, because a lot of times bad weather makes good light, makes good photographs, great images. So this is something that I'm going to take advantage of very, very often. The weather for Montana, they're calling for some rain and stuff. Is that going to stop me? No way. I'm going to be out there, I'm going to be using this lens, I'm going to be out there shooting as much as I can. So let's recap. Tamron 17-28 f2.8 lens all the way through the range from 17 to 28. Smallest, lightest lens in its class, and a very affordable lens too. You'll notice probably half the price of the other ones. Are you sacrificing sharpness? No. Are you sacrificing quality? Absolutely not. 6-year warranty with it, lens caps, lens hood, low dispersion glass, extra low dispersion glass, the elements in there, minimum focusing distance 7.5 inches, 14.8 ounces, 3.9 inches long, 67 millimeter filter size. Everything in this thing is cool. The one thing that really hit me as I was reading some of the reviews was F-Stoppers, the piece that they just released here recently. I really loved reading it because as he was talking about it, he said, Tamron loaned me this lens, I'm shooting into the sky, I'm not getting chromatic aberrations, which is phenomenal, because he was doing a lot of climbing and some other stuff with it. So he had a lot of bright sky in there, no chromatic aberrations in his images, without any correction, no lens correction, anything. So I'm excited about that. But the funniest thing that struck me is he said, Tamron loaned me the lens. And as he went through the pros and the cons of the lens, the one big con of the lens was I have to give it back to Tamron. So I found that kind of interesting, because I'm not giving this back, I'm keeping it. And I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. I'm going to use it in Montana, I'm going to use it for other situations. Look for my video when I get back. I'll put some high-res images in there, and we'll talk more about the lens. So until the next time, thank you for viewing the video. Give me a thumbs up if you could, get the little bell, get notifications, subscribe to my channel please if you don't already, and we'll get you more video content. But for now, thank you, and probably the next time I talk to you will be from this spot or from Montana. So I'll talk to you soon. Thanks again.